if you have any questions, we ask you to please drop them in the question slide below. It's our last slide, and we'll answer them during the Q&A session. So we're just waiting for everyone to start joining, and we'll give it about 1 to 2 more minutes before we get started. Before we do, I wanted to address something. It wouldn't be a collaboration webinar if we didn't all collaborate here. So my first question to everyone listening today is, what is your team's #1 collaboration problem? I'd love for you to drop a comment right on the slide. You can do so by just adding a comment. You just put it here, and
I believe you shared the document with everybody, right?
I did. So the document has been shared with everyone. You will find an invitation inside your inbox, and once you see it, you can just click on the link there and start commenting on the second slide. What is your team's #1 collaboration problem? We'd love to know, and we will address it right before we start and throughout the presentation. And Matt will talk more in depth about the topic as he shows us how to get into it. So I think we've had enough time to wait for everyone to join. As I mentioned, my name is Alfonso Sica. I am the product marketing manager here at Xara, and I'm being joined today by Matt Bolton, CEO at Xara. And we will be diving into the topic of collaboration and how smart teams use content collaboration to really impact revenue, to create results. And I think that if you're creating content just for the purpose of creating content, you are doing it wrong, my friend. We should be creating content and collaborating together to create a brand experience. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the topic. So if you haven't had the chance to do so, please go ahead and drop your comment and let us know what your team's #1 collaboration problem is. And I want to tackle this by trying to understand what most teams are doing wrong, what the implications of bad communication are, and why it fails, and how to really tap into your team's full potential, how to actually be able to get the most out of your team. And Matt will actually show you how to put it all together in a live demo or walkthrough of how to do it. So the thing with most distributed and local teams is that there's a lack of clarity and wrong processes that are being applied to their projects. So it'll probably come as no surprise, but last year, teams reported that about 60% of the time being spent on marketing projects was actually spent trying to coordinate them. And we're not talking about time that is being spent on strategy or really applying your skills to create designs or write copy. We're talking about mundane stuff that you really aren't getting paid to do. So I think that this number may actually shock some people, but if we really talk, if we get into it, for me as a marketer, I think I can name a few examples of times where I've actually spent more time trying to actually get the project going than actually writing copy. And for example, I wrote an ebook last year, 60-page ebook. And if you think about the time that it took, we could really say that the time that I actually spent going on a back and forth with my designers that were outsourced and trying to get that project going and getting the branding right and getting the right images into the ebook, it was a mess. And to be honest, I think we can all identify one of those horror stories. And yeah, I think that in the essence of it, great collaboration in marketing really requires great organization and closing the gap between effort and really impact. So it really takes a village and lots of moving parts, which will often fail or just stall the processes. So here's what typically happens when you're trying to coordinate or pull off a marketing project with multiple moving parts. So a lot of time will be wasted waiting for stakeholders who just might not be as invested as you are, or they'll be juggling other projects, or they'll have their own day, and simply you'll be chasing after them. There's always unclear responsibilities and accountability. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I walked into a meeting expecting clarity and really walked out just to schedule a follow-up meeting, trying to ask who's doing what and by when. And it doesn't matter how many Trello cards you have or what you do, somehow people get lost in between. I think it's just a matter of how we're structuring the collaborative creation process. Thirdly, there's information that's undoubtedly being lost in translation. And when you think about it, my tool stack always involved like Trello, Slack, G Suite, Figma, or XD, and sorting out and finding out messages within them is a job in itself. Like how many channels are you managing? Guys, if you want, please drop a comment below and let us know. Matt, how many channels are you managing? How many tools are you working with?
Too many, probably 10 to 12. If you think about it, between your email app, and sometimes I'm using, just even email. Sometimes I'm using Apple Mail. Sometimes I'm logging into Office 365 Outlook directly into the browser. And that's just 2 for just dumb email. So a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing is that there's so many feedback rounds and time being wasted when you're collaborating with other people on a creative or marketing project. I think we all go through this, and the idea of feedback rounds isn't wrong, but I think getting people into a meeting is already tough enough, and it often becomes either a dictatorship where the highest paid person in the room really just tells you what to do, and your voice is being overshadowed by theirs. Or there's always, within the creative process, there's always people who are not a talker during an interview, and that's or during a feedback round, right? This just, we have to take that into account. And the other thing is that you just often wait for your designer to present their developments, only to find out that you have a half-assed job or a job that is subpar. It's just not there. So I think that's the main problem, is that collaboration is really being spread thin, and it often is partly our fault. So what do I mean by that? And I mean that most of the time it's really being spent searching for that lost feedback, or switching between apps and channels, like trying to find that one Slack conversation that you just had 20 days ago and it's just not there yet. So you're just looking for that keyword, and you're managing those siloed priorities, because let's face it, you have your marketing team on one side, you have your design team on the other side. You have to meet the expectations of the C-level, and you're just following up with all these different people involved, and everyone has their different expectations and different involvement in it. It's just a mess. And secondly, there's the fact that default channels are just incompatible with the creative collaboration process. I think that email and kickoff meetings just are not the way to do this. I think that you need something between, something to give you clarity. And the third point is that we just switch between 6 and 10 tools per day. It's just insane to me how many tools we use within a few minutes, where you just don't really have a proper attention span. At least mine. I feel like my attention span's being reduced more and more every day, and it's that of a goldfish pretty much. And it's costing you time, it's costing you concentration, it's costing the company time. So it's, at the end of the day, it's something to really take into account and wonder, how do I channel my team's full potential to get the most out of it? And I think that you can just boil it down into 4 broad points that we will delve into in a minute. But really, it's all about creating that single source of truth with open communication, and driving clear ownerships and expectations into one place, to be able to simplify everything together and move forward faster. And the last point is that you should be able to listen, and listening should be as easy as talking. And I think the third and fourth point are some of the hardest ones for most teams to implement. So let's dive into it. This is what you should be doing to put an end to this collaboration mess. So you should definitely have a single source of truth with open communication. And if you need your team's help, you should be able to get their expertise by really involving them to work on your project. No more of those scattered versions, or I send a PowerPoint here, or I sent a design on Figma here, and just try to wait for them to come back to me. There should be one real-time medium of communication with version history where you can see what's been done and where you're going next. And on the other side, working with external stakeholders, you should be able to really avoid the stress of sorting through your notes that you took during a call 2 days ago, or try to find them scattered inside an email thread. I think it's about staying on the same page and including them in your project. When you're ready and they're ready, get their feedback or get their final approvals. Be able to notify them and be able to just create that dialogue and break through those barriers of obscurity that most collaborative projects really have. There's always that lag time. And I think that we should be able to just simplify everything together, and this actually makes moving faster a lot easier, right? So really, a chain is as strong as its weakest link. And if you're waiting for your team to finish their part, it's costly. And you typically the way it ends is you miss your deadline or just do overtime work. And we should be able to really create that straight line, real-time collaboration and just shape documents together live. Just break down those silos and just be able to also to create a library of, or an asset toolbox where you just make iterative work easier, because that's the nature of marketing. That's the nature of how we work these days. I create an ebook, and then I will create a social media campaign, or I will create content that I will try to distribute with it. And to be honest, this is very iterative work, and I don't want to be calling my designer and bugging him or her with different requests that are just annoying for him or her. And just I don't want to create 100 Notion pages or work with just outdated G Drive folders. I'm pretty sick of it. I'm sure you are too. And there should be a clear ownership. You should be able to really manage expectations in one place. And I think this is part of nature, right? So unrealistic expectations and limited bandwidth are being met with poor communication. And this is really what's plaguing most of our projects. Realistically, collaborators work on their own time. They manage other projects. They have their own lives. And you should have a dedicated place to really make sure that everyone's on the loop and updated in progress. So there should be a place to really track all these issues, comments, and progress, alerts, and this shouldn't be negotiable. You shouldn't be jumping between Jira and coming back to this and then losing people along the way. You should be able to just, drop a comment, be able to be notified, get an email, or get a notification, and just clear it, move forward, and just forget about it, right? I think I get very enthusiastic about it, but I think that this speaks this really speaks about my experience as a marketer working with other people. So what do I think that we should be doing about this? I think we should be able to really transform the dialogue. Listening should be as easy as talking. And what I mean by this is that the way we typically look at it from different frames or from different scopes, whether you're a designer or a marketer, I think cross-functional collaboration has been too slow. And it's a black hole where really poor communications, high expectations just meet, but no one knows what they're working towards, right? Because you have the marketers who really want to get the project done, and the designers who also want to get the project done. But really, we're actually working towards the same goal, which is brand experience. And we often fail to see this. I think the designers will get their specs and then spend hours trying to get it done, and the marketer will come back later on and review it and ask for extensive changes. And it's just frustrating, to be honest. It's just a process that continues repeating endlessly until the expectations are being narrowed down and frustration keeps growing. And for the marketer, it's the same. I mean, as a marketer, you describe your vision or your requirements, and you wait, and then you just receive your design and it doesn't meet the expectations, and you ask for that iteration, and you continue receiving the signs, and you just either run out of time, or you just really the results are never what you expect. And I think in this past year, I don't know if you can relate, I think it's been awful in that sense. And I think that before working with Sarah, I really experienced this quite a lot, and really try to narrow down. And part of the reason why I'm happy that I'm with Sarah is because I can actually do this process in one go. And I think that's, if we look at how average collaboration really pans out, you have the customer really telling you how they want it on one end, and they want it on as such, and then you have the marketer trying to describe it from their own lens, and then you have the designer creating it, and at the end of the day, it just never really matches the expectations. So I think there should be one way to align and have a straight line process. And I think Matt will actually describe it in a much better way by actually showing you how it's done, because I think that average is just not cutting it for now. And yeah, I think, Matt, if you want to start addressing it on your end, or if we should maybe look at the comments and see what people are asking, maybe I can.
Yeah, I'll jump. Why don't you go look at that, and I'll jump right, share my screen. And
Absolutely. Let me just stop sharing.
I got it. So thanks. That was a fantastic description and foundation of collaboration and how it can impact business. I want to transition to actually where my passion is in the product. And as a user of Zara every day, collaboration is near and dear. I probably collaborate and comment more on content than I actually do creating content a lot of times, as you can probably see by some of the screenshots in Alfonso's presentation. But what I wanted to do is start with how we can create and turn that into collaboration to get things done very quickly. So what I wanted to do in part of the demonstration with Zara Cloud is actually just create a product sheet associated with our new Zara collaboration. So I'm actually in templates and product sheet, and I'm just going to go ahead and open one that makes sense. As you know, you can start from a blank document, or you can actually have your own team templates that are already pre-branded with your own special design on it. But in this case, I'm going to start with one of the out-of-box templates. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to apply a brand. So if you haven't set up your brand in Zara Cloud yet, I would highly recommend you do that. Just open up any template, and as soon as you open it in the right-hand side, go ahead and create a brand. It's a very simple 3 or 4 step process. It'll take you literally about 30 seconds. But I'm going to go ahead and actually apply the Zara brand. And as you know, any template will then automatically adjust to your brand. So let's get started from there. I like this, but I don't like a screenshot. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that and make it easy. Another thing that is important in a lot of business content creation is you recycle. I think Alfonso mentioned this as well. You recycle content. You don't do things over and over again. You repurpose it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to jump over to one of our landing pages, and our kind of theme for Zara collaboration, create, deliver on time, right? In in the business world, speed is extremely critical. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this tagline, and I'm going to simply Control C, Control V, or Command if you're on a Mac, and drop it into the document. Now I'm thinking, you know what? I really don't like that. I'm going to change this here, and I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to change this because I believe we should call this Zara. Oops. Collaboration. One of the things that you'll notice when you're working in Zara is if you hover over anything, it gives you a nice little bounding box of where the object lies that you can use. Then with one click, you get the object selected that you can move it around and all that good stuff. Or you can double click and automatically select text. If it's on a template text, which is really cool, on your second click, it will automatically select all the placeholder text in full. So you could just 2-click and immediately start typing. Makes it really simple to consume the out-of-box templates that Zara provides. So the next thing I want to do is I want to grab our image. So I'm going to go ahead and just right click on our website and copy image, select this image and hit Command V, and it will paste it automatically in the placeholder. Now I also know that I want to build out my digital asset library so I can reuse this graphic over and over again for my social media campaign that I'm going to build off of this. So once I have an image, I'm going to go ahead and click the extra menu and hit add to assets. And so it's an image, and I want to keep the original, and which is a nice, cool option. Do you want to keep the original size or the smaller or the modified size? And you'll see that you get a notification and it's right in your asset library. This asset library is great. We're talking about collaboration. Adding it to this team provides, or to this asset library provides access to your entire team for these assets. So normally, like in our own Zara use case, our brand manager or designer will create a lot of these assets and drop them into the digital asset library automatically. This is a demo, so I'm showing you how you can do it from a document as well. But in a typical real world scenario, they're already there for me. Great way to centralize everything. All right, so now we need to, so we're getting there very quickly. And now we need to adjust down here. So what I would like to do is we have this really nice thing about how it works: share, edit, real-time collaboration, and tagging in notifications. So I am going to, I'm gonna do that and how it works. And then I can take these bullets, and so I don't want bullets. Maybe I want to do a 1, 2, 3. I can just go down and change the bullets, or I can use the context menu here and go back and forth between that, or I can use it here. So one of the things that you might have noticed with Zara is some of the common tools that you would normally use in your content creation are there for you in the context menu, or you have a richer, more in-depth right-hand panel for additional tools that you might need. So whatever works for you and to decide. So I think let's go back here. What was our first one? Share, edit. So one of the great things about Zara collaboration is I can, let's take off the cap locks. I can share, edit with anyone. Zara's collaboration, you can share with people inside your company or people outside your company with full control over their permissions, their editing permissions. So for example, in the webinar, Alfonso shared a document with to everybody that allows you to make comments on his slide deck that he presented. And you can, and the question that we would like your feedback on is, what is your #1 collaboration issue that you face in your business or with working with your clients? And he controlled the permissions of sharing that through Zara. All right, what was our second thing that I want to do is real-time collaboration. So one of the other collaboration features of Zara is that multiple people can edit. So multiple users can edit together in real time. Let's say just like, whoops, Google Docs. So one of the unsung great things about Zara is that you can work on a complete document or work on any document together at the same time. You know, right now, if this was shared with our designer, they could come in and work on that image and change it, make it better, change the layout while I'm typing text like we're doing here. It's a phenomenal way to get things done quickly, as I mentioned earlier, is the big theme for me. And the other thing is tagging and notifications. And so, as Alfonso mentioned, there's a lot of disconnect that can occur. And one of the things that we try to achieve through the Zara platform is to make sure that everybody's on the same page, a single point of truth. So you got tagging and email notifications to make sure everyone is informed. So you can, and I think what I did in the document that Alfonso shared with everybody, I did an @all. So everybody that was shared, I made a comment to you, and I'm assuming, hopefully, you got an email notification from me saying hi, and we would love your feedback on the document. All right. And then we have one more about us, and I was thinking, I'm going to take this text here, so I'm just going to copy this just for speed. A lot of times you would type it in yourself, but in general, so oops, what did I do there? Sorry, wrong shortcut. Give me a second. That's what happens when you're doing a real live demo. I hope I didn't lose my document. That would be very ugly. But hold on a second. I think it's coming back. There we are. Sorry about that. And so Command A and Control V, and there we go. We pasted our text. Now, obviously, this text doesn't work. So I'm going to paste it as heading 2 because it came from the website. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply change this to normal text. And now it's formatted properly. And that's basically it. Our document is done. Now we can play around with a couple things. I kind of want to maybe change the color of this bar here. So it's locked. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. Another design aspect of Zara is that you can lock different locked objects in different ways, as you can see on the right hand side. This was fully locked, but you can lock size and position, aspect ratios. I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. And the reason why I want to unlock it is because I want to, let's see if we can get here. And I want to change the fill color to a lighter shade of our theme color. Makes it a little bit softer as tied to the picture. That's another thing. So when your brand is set up, Zara will automatically create shades for you based on those theme colors. Your text colors, you can also add custom colors as well if you so choose. Maybe I want to make this a little bit bigger. Thank you for, oops, I'm dragging that, and let's, with the zoom, it's a little bit slower, so I apologize. I'm very quick in Zara and sometimes get ahead. So let's just make that maybe a little bit bigger for ourselves. And our Zara collaboration now, if they'll correct me, is actually it's smart collaboration. We want this on one line, so let's drag this out. And let's hit that down. And I think we have a final document. So how do we collaborate? So first is I'm going to go ahead and save this document to my OneDrive. So let's get my toolbar out of the way. I'm going to save it. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit share with others. So this is one of the screenshots that Alfonso showed you, which is very cool and very simple. So I'm going to go ahead and, oops, type in here, Alfonso, he's already there. And, you know, please make sure the messaging is on point. And this would be the same thing you could do with your client if you want them to review a website. If you happen to be a user of our desktop Designer Pro products and you're building websites, you can actually import and open the website in Zara and then do the same share and collaboration with your clients, and they can make comments. They can't touch the design, they can't edit it, and give you all that. Give you all that feedback. Sorry, here, my typo. I didn't mean to hit a capital please on you, Alfonso, on my share, but that's okay. And you can add more. So that's one way to make it easy for you to collaborate. Page operations, I'm going to go ahead. This is a new feature. I just wanted to highlight it because it's actually one of the most requested features that we had. How can I copy and paste pages from different documents? There's a new page operation menu here, and you can just go ahead and hit copy page, go to your second document, click on the thumbnails, hit paste page, or do a Command C, Command V, and it will paste it. I'm going to duplicate this, and one of the reasons why I'm going to duplicate it is because I want to go ahead and I'm going to take this content off, and I want to show you a couple more features real quick if you're good with that. Open to questions, open to feedback. We'd love to make it interactive. I'm going to go ahead here into a diagram. And if you haven't used any of our diagrams or components on the left-hand side, you're missing out. They're a great way to visualize your ideas. But what's really cool about them is they will auto brand or auto format to the document that you put them in. So you can see here, they're all different colors, and you know, they're just there for presentation purposes. But when I add, let's say, for example, this onto the document, it will automatically take the brand colors of the doc. So let's go ahead and add this one. And I'm going to go ahead and marquee select and take this and drag it up, give some more room. I'm going to take this one and drag it up, give us a little bit more room. And I'm going to take the same content that I had here and just present it in a different way. Do I sound like Bob Ross? Everybody know who Bob Ross is, the painter. I watched his Netflix documentary the other day, and I feel like my voice is mimicking that. Anyways, right, we have to have a little fun on ourselves. So then now I want to change these icons. So you hit replace icons. I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to select number 1. And it makes it really simple. And there you go. You can replace it from your own icon library. So when I was mentioning that digital asset library before, we have a lot of our customers that will take their whole library of icons and drop them into the digital asset library that can be used. All right, just so we don't get too long in the tooth here. Remember, you can use the canvas outside of the document as a placeholder. It doesn't impact anything in terms of your downloading or your sharing the web or anything like that, but it's a great way to throw ideas around and collaborate with others. It's kind of like a whiteboard out there around your document. It's fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paste this in here. And so we have a color font issue, so no problem. I'm going to go ahead and select it, and I'm going to do check text 2, which is the alternative text. No problem. And let's see here, bullet. Do we want it to be a bullet? Yeah, we could do a bullet, but you know what? It's kind of busy already. So I will just delete the bullet. And I can continue this process with 1, 2, and 3 and get a full diagram here. In the spirit of time, I probably won't do this. I get too excited in creating in the product. And this is something that is great for everybody. So literally in 10, maybe 15 minutes, we created 2 different versions of a flyer. We can add more, we can subtract, but now we have other people that can come in, comment, and get it done. And so in what this might be going back and forth with emailing it off to somebody and they send responses back, you're cutting your time down, in multiples on your collaboration. And this is just, again, one flyer. It can be for anything that you do within the Zara ecosystem. That's my demonstration, and that's my part of a collaboration and the many different things that you can do around collaboration. So it's not just commenting and sharing, it's also digital asset library. It's using the pasteboard out here, the canvas, to throw ideas and use it as a quasi whiteboard around a document. It is using team templates. Once you set up a team template that everybody in the system has access to. So many different forms around collaboration. Use it, give us feedback, but hopefully the real goal is that it impacts your business in a positive way. Alfonso, that's what I have.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Matt. I think that's, yeah, with that being said, we don't have any current questions. If you have any questions for now, yeah, I did leave that comment. I had to. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them either in the Q&A slide in the presentation that I shared with you, or in the comment section within Zoom, and we'll be able to answer them. If you don't have any questions, I wanted to thank you so much for coming to the webinar and letting us show you a different approach to collaboration that doesn't involve 1,000 or a myriad of different tools that just make the process a little messy. So I think that with that being said, I think that I'd like to wrap it up by just saying that, to me, collaboration really starts and ends in the same place, and it should be a process that is fluid, is just inviting to everyone, and just opens up the dialogue to really be able to focus on the end game, which is creating that brand experience. So let me check if we have any comments or questions. Looks like no one has any comments or any questions.
Alfonso, I see one question. So is this webinar recorded, and what's the best way to reach Zara?
So yeah, the webinar is definitely being recorded, and you will get an email with it right after it. So you'll be able to actually jump on the document and comment on it, or share with anyone you want at any time. It's yours to play with. You can always sign up to Zara at Zara.com. You have a free trial for it. You are able to just use the most out of it and invite your team members. And yeah, I mean, we hope to definitely see you all coming back and trying the different superpowers that we give you, and give us some feedback as well.
Yeah, adding to that, one of the fastest ways to reach us, especially if you're in the product and you have questions, is the chat button in the bottom right-hand corner. You can just click on it and start a chat with us. We might actually try to reach out to you proactively through it as well. You can also search for help and articles as well, so how-to videos and other things, resources for you to make your journey within Zara and your creation a lot easier. All right, well, fantastic. Thank you for joining today's webinar. We look forward to your feedback, and we look forward to seeing some of the amazing things that you do with our solutions. Thanks, and have a good rest of the day.